Homeland Security is investigating allegations that a defunct private school in Metro Atlanta misled international students to lure them to Georgia.
Some of those students complained they wound up living in squalid conditions.
What happened to them has started 2 investigations now at 2 different school locations.
For months, they say they piled into Flint's small house in Conyers, eventually left to fend for themselves for a month with only a few days' food on hand.
The house was crowded. It was 20 people in the house, and half of us were sleeping on the floor, and there was in a basement.
The boys are now with a sponsor family in Florida.
It's making me feel bad. I really feel bad right now. Hi, my name is Rostand N'Dong Essomba. I'm from Cameroon, Central Africa, and this is my story. I grew up playing soccer. In my family, my parents, my dad, my uncles, they all played soccer. In Cameroon, everybody plays soccer. Soccer is like a religion. There's not such a thing as being a student athlete back home. It's either you're an athlete or you're a student. When you don't make it professionally in sports, you turn into a life of poverty. They wanted me to be more focused in school and get my diploma so that I can have a decent job and really take care of my family. And I started having some good opportunities actually to leave the country, to go play soccer, and then a tragedy struck my family. One of my sisters passed away. Marlene was the one that was really really close to me, and she was watching all my games. It's there to remind me that it was okay, that I did some good things and I have to build from there, but it was just impossible to get back to where I was. So I stopped soccer. I started to remember all the great moments we have, all the positive ones, because she loved life. I started using all those memories and trying to connect with her in some ways. And one of the things that came back to my mind was she always wanted me to play basketball. I decided to start playing basketball just to maybe find a way to just connect with her in some ways. I joined a competitive team, started practicing, learning. It was tough at the beginning, but it was really fun because I was learning quite fast and I was learning new things pretty much every day. So it was really interesting, and I was always looking forward to keep on learning and growing into the sports. And I joined a team with a bunch of guys that were already playing the game, so they were more savvy about how to do certain things than I was, and it was just fun for me to learn. I started getting better and better and better. We won everything my first year, and from there I started growing more and more into the game and becoming better. There's NBA basketball player who's from Cameroon. He promoted a camp every summer to give back basically to the country and the continent. We had the opportunity to participate in the pre-selections, and we were about over 500 kids that are participating. And the goal is to select 50. From the 50 guys are gonna do a camp, and then from there 5 will be selected to go represent Cameroon in the Basketball Without Borders camp in South Africa. With the grace of God and with all the work I put in, I was fortunate enough to make the selection out of the over 500 kids into the 50, and from the 50 into the 5 guys that were selected to go to South Africa. It was a great motivation. From there, I was working hard every day, and I was selected among the 20 best players. So I started having some propositions from coaches about being able to come to the United States and pursue my studies and play ball, which was a really convincing point for my parents. I finally received a pamphlet with pictures of a nice school and a full scholarship. So from there I was ready, and then I left. I landed in Atlanta. Things just started to feel awkward. The man that owned the school, who came to pick me up at the airport, he started asking me for money, even though I was showing him the I-20, saying that I have a full scholarship. That means I'm not supposed to pay you anything. And he started threatening to take me back to the airport so that they can deport me back. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give you the money. So we went straight to his house, and his house was crowded with a lot of other players, football players, basketball players, some soccer players, and they showed me where the room was, and I went upstairs. I opened the room, and it was 6 people in the little room, all sleeping on the floor. I couldn't sleep, so I was just awake until the next day. And I was barely eating it because I was so shocked and confused and also emotional, because I just left my family thinking I'm coming to live in way better conditions than I was when I was back home, but actually I started missing being home. I was expecting to go to the school that I saw in the pictures and everything, but it was completely different, a completely different place, different building. And I started questioning myself like that, what's going on? And I started asking, and I started realizing that things weren't right. We were 6 people sharing a room. There was no bed, and it wasn't like a room for 6 people. It was like a room for 1 person, and 6 people were sharing it. And all we were doing was just sleeping on the floor basically, and everybody had their baggages as pillowcases, and just survive. It was just a survival. We had no food. I had some money, but I didn't want to spend it every day to buy food, because I was expecting to be taken care of, because in the full scholarship that they gave me, there was an amount for food, so I was supposed to be fed, and that wasn't happening. It was really cold. Sometimes the electricity was off and there was no heater in the house, and we had to sleep in those conditions. It was really tough. Sometimes there was no water. But the basketball coach that was training with us, he never knew how we were treated. And then one day, the coach started to pick on us and asking us what was wrong with us. Why do we act like we didn't have food in a few days? And he was shocked by our answers, and he wanted to come see where we were living. So he sent him the address, and he came and saw everything, the conditions in where we were living, and he decided to move us out of there. To anybody who's going through a tough time, a difficult situation, not specifically like mine, but any sort of difficult situation, I just wish you all the best, and I just ask you to stay positive and to be yourself. Don't let those situations change who you are, and always believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So some way, somehow, you're gonna get out of that situation, and it'll be the past. God has been with me along the way, and I hope that to whoever is in a hard situation, if you believe in God, just keep doing it. Just understand that He has a bigger plan for you, and to elevate you, He has to mold you first. And so keep believing God and stay positive.